Okay, so welcome everybody to our annual update of the work groups and special interest groups within the ELISA project. We will have 2 hours of presentation upcoming to get you up to speed, understand what we have achieved in 2025, where we approach to go in 2026. Uh, so this is first of all the welcome. It's great to have you in. You can see that the things are recorded. You can also have later on a chat and the Q&A, so where you can put your questions. Unfortunately, I currently have an issue not seeing them, but I'm pretty sure someone else will see. We are struggling with my Zoom version a bit. Um, Briefly for you, we have a set agenda. A typical working group update takes 25 minutes. This overview is kept short, so just to 15 minutes. And it may happen that we are faster for one or the other session. And if we are faster, then we will continue with the next one. So if you dial out and in again, you may miss the start of something. If we finish earlier, then we finish earlier. Rough end time will be around 5 p.m. UTC. And yeah, tomorrow we continue in a similar fashion. More today, it's a mixture of open source engineering process by Paul, systems, automotive, safety architecture, features, and I'll give you welcome back tomorrow to say what's on the agenda. And I see Paul is also there for the next session, which is already good. Then, for those who are joining the first time, and I see this is something to mention, safety is not security. They have similarities, they have differences, and in some languages, actually the same word. We are good that we are talking English here. In German, we have the same word, for example, for safety and security. So I took a little bit of picture to give you an impression. The left side is more a safety thing where you have the fire stairs, but it may not be secure. As you can see, the top door is open, so someone can intrude. On the right side, the intrusion is blocked by a lock. However, don't get your fingers into the door, and let's hope it's no fire exit. So this is basically just to illustrate the fundamental difference between safety and security. And within safety, there are a bunch of safety integrity standards. So there is almost no way around this. If you're building project and product in this environment, you may come around this. There are good frameworks which help you to abstract it a bit, as the standards are industrial standards. They are based on best practices and recommendations. And well, even if there are different products created, similar patterns arise like requirements, documentation, testing, traceability. This is a common theme, and this also enables us in ELISA to work together, even if we have multiple domains and industries involved. Just very briefly about ELISA. It's enabling Linux and safety application, and we look beyond security. That's what I already mentioned. It's also important to see that we try to increase the dependability and reliability for the whole Linux ecosystem. So our deliverables and achievements are thought to be used also for other fields of products, environments, not necessarily functional safety. We cover aerospace, automotive, medical, industrial use cases. We are about to look into the railways industry. We'll see this later in the presentation. And we also get support by industrial-grade Linux distributors. We'll see our members on one of the coming pages. And then we also have close community collaboration with other environments like the Zen project, Zephyr, SPDX, Yocto, AGL, Eclipse, SDV, reaching out to Linaro, Sophie. So there's a bunch of interactions so that you can see that the Linux system fits somehow into the environment of a wider product. We try to build reproducible systems so that you can really experience things and then tie together everything as elements, processes, tools to give you a proper experience. Just a quick sit on the role of Linux. Um, the biggest superlative of software development, I think there's fairly anything where you find more contributors, committers, maintainers, and it's really used in various kind of use cases, from very small devices with limited performance, deeply embedded, up supercomputers, and reaches out into space. So not only on the world, but you even find it on Mars. There have been several attempts with certification paths in the past. Now with high performance products, I mentioned the SDV, software-defined vehicle. This can mean for mobility, automotive, but also our aerospace participants said, well, at the end, the aircraft is also a vehicle and this becomes software-defined. So we see there the high-performance compute give us more demand. In the past, there has been the Silter Linux MP project, and this ended 2019 and moved on in ELISA. On the right, you see some examples, what have all been just some search queries on the term safe, Linux, safety, Linux, Linux for safety, and yeah. So this just like to show there's really a momentum on this going on. However, Linux as such differs from a traditional safety critical OS. Normally, this is a very small microkernel certified scheduler. But like if you go to this high performance compute use cases nowadays, very complex automation tasks, both things face challenges because these microkernel architectures are not always considered for high performance, multi-core, multi-level caches, uh, system on chips, redundant architectures, and so on. And you may not be able to get the performance you need. Linux, on the contrary side, is built for all this, but is not going through a traditional process. Still, you need to somehow face challenges when you want to get into modern development. When we try to collaborate, we cannot do everything. This is like our disclaimer slide also. So we cannot engineer your system to be safe. Uh, we cannot ensure that whatever we described is really used at your site properly, and we will also not generate any kind of out-of-tree Linux kernel because safety often is meant to be on a very stable base. In the past, there was like one release shot and typically not really updates, but this will not work if we see the continuous process improvement argument from the Linux kernel side. Uh, there's something in there, and we also cannot relieve you from your responsibility, legal obligations, and liabilities, as we are not providing a safe Linux, but just the path forward for peers to collaborate with. And this refers into a short mission statement, which says like the mission of the project is to define and maintain a common set of element process and tools that can be incorporated into Linux-based safety critical system amenable to safety certification. From our members, you can see who subscribed basically to this mission with a very robust base of members and typically also get some updates. So we have the recent and new member with NVIDIA, who officially made this available towards the end of the year. A press release is coming from our side soon. So that's just as the base information. And yeah, our work operates in the working groups. So here we have the horizontals where you see the updates later. Your safety architecture led by Red Hat, the Linux features now with NVIDIA. The tools is open for a new leadership. There's a change possible. So if you are now see all the work we're doing and you would like to get into this topic, feel free to drop us a mail at info@elisa.tech or approach us via Discord or whatever channel you later on see. So we're happy to talk with you if you want to take over some leadership. The open source engineering process, next topic will be powered by Paul. Systems is with Bosch, and for the verticals use cases, for aerospace, the prominent premium member Boeing takes over. Automotive is in the lead of Bosch as well. We're open here for new leadership because it's currently combined with systems and automotive. And if you're from a medical devices company, we're looking for a new leadership here to look for a new use case tailoring your needs. Yeah, all things basically tie together. So the verticals feed the different horizontals. which you send the input from the verticals to progress. Some parts it also looks like unidirectional, but then the verticals may also use ELISA deliverables from the horizontals. And this is just like to set the scene. And yes, we have the recap of 2025. We will see a lot of things in the coming presentations. So I really tried to focus on something which was cross work group, highest level, and we welcomed quite a bunch of new members, community members, company participants. We had the project supporters in there. Then it was really great to host the Safe Systems with Linux microconference session at Linux Plumbers again. We did this last year and we could conduct it also like in 2024 and we conduct in 2025 again. We conducted Safety Critical Software Summit at Open Source Summits, not only one, but basically it becomes now a standard thing for US, Japan, Europe, Asia, India, Korea was also track in there. We had 2 in-person workshops and 3 virtual seminars. The next seminar around Basel is around the corner. We'll see that we also get the wider outreach with other communities again, so to get an update from Xen and Zephyr, for example. We populated the ELISA directory with a lot of information. Just like last week, we also come up with a glossary, which was very important for some people to just come a common language, get a common language. This was basically the primary, most repetitive feedback from workshops that they said, like, you use vocabulary I'm not familiar with, so we have now a common base. And I think what also helped us a lot was the that we brought the community into Discord. So you don't find every work group there, but you find a bunch. You can get infos on events, and we try to keep this updated and be responsive as much as possible. So this is like the achievements which we had, and all the achievements wouldn't be possible without a nice community. And therefore, I want to thank those who are really active contributors, participating in workshop, being there. So I just took like some pictures from Plumbers, the Open Source Summit, our workshops we held. And if you want to get to know the community, we have the ELISA Tag blog. So the blog is giving basically updates on the events we had, what we planned, some technical insights. So that's your point to go to. And now it's time also to stay curious on how the project evolves. This was the intro slide. It was not so too much for the questioning part. Um, so therefore, whenever you have questions, don't hesitate to bring them to Discord. And I would be pleased to hand over to Paul for the first session on OSAP.
Thank you, Philip.
Actually, a second. I'm going to stop the recording.
Yes, and you go for the next one. This makes editing easier.
Sorry. Gosh, where is it?